Hey guys, welcome to Restoration Mastery TV. Today we're giving out free mental enemas.
Boom!
Hey guys, so we're back. Last week we talked all about the Wheel of Life. If you did not watch last week's episode, this one may be a little bit weird. You may want to go back and start with part 1.
Yep.
But we're on part 3, and today we want to talk to you about, now that you've got that Wheel of Life filled out and you understand how balanced or unbalanced your life may be in these 7 vital categories, we want to talk about what to do with that knowledge. Okay, now I know maybe I'm great at business, but I'm completely screwed up in my relationships. What do I do with that information?
Yeah. And so typically, guys, we find that, going and tackling 1 or 2 or 3 for the year is something that you can actually chew on. It's bite-sized, you can actually accomplish. If you try to do all 7, it becomes very cumbersome, very heavy. Most people won't even try it. But we're going to take just one example today of one goal that you're actually going after, and we're going to teach you and show you the questions that are asked to determine the rating of that goal. Okay? So you have 3, we're going to take 1. And then we're going to ask a series of questions, and then when it's all done, you're going to say, boom, this is the number 8, 9, or 10, or 7. This is how important it is. And you take your second one, you do the same thing. And you take a third one, same thing. And when it's all said and done, you're going to know without a shadow of a doubt, like this is the one. This is the one that gets the top priority, second, and third. And you make them all priorities, but when you look at your column, you're telling yourself, this is massively important to me. And these are the reasons why it's so important to me. So, should we start the process?
Yeah, so let's say, for example, I notice I'm weak on time. That's one of mine. I feel like I don't have control over my time. I'm always busy. I don't get things accomplished because of time issues. And so I want to set a goal specific to that. And that goal should be something that is very easily measured, the old SMART system, right? Yeah. It should be something that you should be able to tell whether or not you failed or succeeded in accomplishing that goal. It should be it shouldn't be if I wanted to set a time goal, it shouldn't be I want better use of my time. That's too nebulous. That's not specific. You might say to yourself, okay, I want to have 4 hours per week spent on this task. Maybe it's I want to spend 4 hours per week reading. I want to spend 15 minutes a day meditating. I want to clear up that time. That's one of my time goals. I'm going to eliminate something, but it should be really something specific. So, did you have an example?
Yeah.
Time was one you wanted. Maybe we can work with your driving example, for example.
Oh, very true. Very true.
Know if that's a good goal for you.
Yeah, no, it is. It is. So let me do this. Before I take you through this template, by the way, you're going to want this template. So you're going to want to opt in and to get this, because this is what the steps are you're going to take to get you through. But, in a previous video that we shot, I talked about how this year time is so important to me, and that driving in California, you can blow between an hour and a half to 3 hours a day just in windshield time. You've done it. I've done it. If you're here in California, you know it's a prerequisite of wherever you live to wherever the jobs are. And so I've decided that 50% of my time is going to be committed to not driving at all. So that means that the 50% of the time now I'm going to be able to be productive. And that's so important to me. So that's one of the things that I've decided to do based on evaluating how important this was to me. So now let's go back to the framework of how do you evaluate how important this goal is to you. And so here's a series of questions. We're going to kind of blow through this, give you a few examples, but when you get this format and you look at it at home, take the time to fill it out. Take the time to really spend the time and the brain power and the heart power to answer these questions as to what it means to you. So if the goal, number 1, is more time, then the question is, on a personal standpoint, on a scale from 1 to 10, how important is this to me in my personal life? In my personal life, if I have more time, am I going to be able to contribute more time to my relationships, to my daughters, to my brothers, to my family, my friends, all that, right? It's a personal. So you give yourself a score. For me, it's a 10. It's important that, my brother has passed away, so it's important to me to understand and to own the fact that I don't get much more time. Today, this minute, this second you and I just spent together is gone. That's never going to happen again. And so I have to calculate and say, this is what I want to do with my future, with my time, and I want to contribute. Okay? So then on a business standpoint, from 0 to 10, how big is more time to me? So on a scale from 0 to 10, 10 being most important, I say it's a 10. Because if I can carve out more time in my business, I can be more profitable, which will create more continuity with our team, which our tribe gets stronger, our leadership gets stronger, and there's more freedom, right? So I say definitely a 10. That's important to me. And then from the standpoint of making money, if I have more time, will I be able to make more money? Will that generate more income? Absolutely yes. Right? And so you begin to answer these questions. Next one is, from a scale from 0 to 10, will it reduce stress? If I'm able to conquer and master this thing called time, hell yeah. Because oftentimes right now, if you're like me, you've got all these things coming your way and you're making time for this, making time for that, but the big boulder that you say is so important to you goes off into tomorrow, into next week, into next month, man. And it doesn't get done because you're too busy handling these small little pebbles versus the boulders, right? And so for me, will it reduce stress? Absolutely 10. So I've got personal why 10, business why 10, will it make money 10, reduce stress 10. Boom, all across the board. Then here comes the good questions, guys. Is on a personal standpoint, if I'm able to achieve it, what will that mean to me? What will that mean to me? I need to, at this point, describe, if I have more time in my personal life, it means that I'm going to feel more connected to my personal relationships. I'm going to be able to now have these relationships blossom into something that I don't have right now. And guys, like, if you have any kids, if any children, you know that if you've been this busy guy like I have been when my kids were younger, I've been so busy, and I lost this little connection with my children when they were younger because I got so busy. And now I'm busy trying to make sure that I connect with them on a deeper level because I know that if I spend more time, then things are going to blossom and I'm going to have a different relationship. A lot of times, well, in the past we were fed the part that, people kept saying, oh, it's quality versus quantity, right? And I call bullshit on that because, as a father, you're like, hey, let's go have fun, quality, tell me about your life, what's going on with you? And you're trying to get all and force these things out of your child or any relationship because you've got a limited amount of time. You're like, let's get quality. That's wrong, man. Nothing genuine is going to come out of that. But when you have quantity time, guess what? The relationship just begins to flow.
And I think it's kind of a false dichotomy. It's like that should you work hard or work smart type of bullshit question because the answer is both. Like, when did that become a choice? When did quality versus quantity, I don't know, when I took my daughter home from the hospital, they didn't say, okay, now look, are you going to want to spend a lot of time with her or a good time with her? You have to pick one, you don't get both. No, fuck that. I want quantity and quality. I want it all. And I think that, that should really be. And I love this framework, the question about getting that personal why and that business why, describing what success would look like in those spheres. That's something that when you guys are going through a hard time, when you're questioning whether or not you should have set that goal in the first place, go back to these answers. Yeah. And you can look at those whys, because that's the next question is, what would this do to your business? Yep. Now this is what success looks like. How good do I feel about that? How does that make me feel? If you don't read those reasons why and they don't inspire the ever-living hell out of you, then maybe that goal is something you need to reevaluate, right? There's not a strong enough why to compel you to do that. I mean, if you want to know why most New Year's resolutions fail within a couple weeks, it's because we don't really have a reason for setting them. It's funny, I get people every day who reach out to me, morbidly obese people, and they'll say, well, I really, can you tell me how to lose weight? And I'll say, well, why do you want to lose weight? And they're like, I don't know, I just should be skinny. Well, why? You don't have a good reason why. It's why most weight loss stories start with somebody getting a diagnosis that they're about to die. Yeah. It's because they don't have a strong enough reason why to put down, the bad food. Yeah.
So guys, watch this, and we'll go through this framework. If I'm describing the personal reasons why it's important to me, personally, then I can manifest and envision, okay, you know what? That means that I'm traveling, like this is me. I'm in Paris. I'm in Paris with my kids. We're having this wonderful time because I've got time. Or we travel to India to go meditate together and just have this time. Whatever it is for you, envision it and say, this is what it means to me, okay? In business, envision and manifest what that means. If you now have more time, you're able to be more effective. You're able to train more. You're able to maybe do videos so you can do training where you're not having to repeat yourself all the time. That's one of my things on time is I'm going to be doing training for the next 2 weeks on job sites, and I'm going to ingrain it on the videos, and I deliver it. And so my staff now, instead of me having to go to all of them, it's like, boom, watch video number 10 where I talk about exactly that. Here you go. Those things, guys, getting leverage on ourselves to say, you know what, I want to respect my time more because it's going to mean success. Now I can actually afford, right, to go to India, to go to Paris, right? And so now we go a bit deeper. The next question is, what pain will I experience if I don't achieve it? What pain will I experience if I don't achieve it? And this is where we need to get really serious with ourselves, you know? And that means that I would have never experienced mastery in that part of my life. So that you want to go deep in. And I'm going to cruise through a few more questions here. What positive emotions are required for me to feel that more time is important? What positive emotions must I focus on? Okay? Because remember, you're getting 6,000 messages coming to you every single day. What positive emotions should you focus on to make sure that this becomes your priority and stays your priority? Next one is, why is it a must for me? And going back to what Tim just said, you know, people say they want to lose weight, and it's like, well, why? Well, I don't know. I should be skinnier. No, it's not. That's not a strong enough why. Why is this so important to me? Why is this so important to you? And you write that down, okay? And then on a scale from 1 to 10, when it's all said and done here, I rate this and say, okay, is it really an 8 for me? Or is it a 9? Or is it a 10 for me? And you get that scale. Now, this is your overall number. The last thing you do is you say, okay, if this is this important to me, when do I start? What date do I start with this and mastering my time? And that's the top piece of the framework. The bottom piece of the framework is another aspect that we'll hit on next week. But this is the general framework for you guys.
Absolutely. So guys, fill out the form, get this questionnaire, and start looking at your goals. If you want any feedback, feel free to email them, Tim or OP at restorationmastery.com. We'd love to help you guys out. Until next week, we'll see you soon.
Boom. Peace.